then after making a database, you will create a table. Okay? So again, make sure that if you are going, if you are using any server, it's either WAMP or SAM, make sure you check if the server is running or not. In my case, I am using WAMP. When it turns green, that means that the servers are still running, are running now. So with that said, so you go to localhost phpMyAdmin. This is the URL to enter the phpMyAdmin. So again, phpMyAdmin is a tool for the developers to create databases and tables easy and efficiently compared to those earlier tool na we are using command prompt that only black background and white text we can just type, and all the codes are, or all the syntax for the database are written. There is a to phpMyAdmin, you can just click, and then you can have your database. Okay, so to do that, okay, by the way, this is the first problem that most of you will be encountering with, especially when you enter PHP localhost phpMyAdmin. If you just installed the new version of SAM and WAMP, usually mo ni siya, it will ask you a username and password. Supposedly this is your then it will be locked up. You don't know what to type with. Okay, so basically what you are going to do there is type root, only the root username. There is no password, just click go. Okay, so that you can enter to the phpMyAdmin. Why there is a username and there is a login for a phpMyAdmin? Because again, I told you for our previous discussion, phpMyAdmin is the tool for the companies. For example, the company, you have the phpMyAdmin to manage the databases, and you are going to sure that no one else can enter the database, because in the company base database or data are very important and confidential. So you have to, in our case, we are just using the default users for WAMP and SAM, that is the root. So later on, if you are now deploying a database to a certain company, you can set levels of it. You can set whatever username you are going to intend to let. And if that particular username will be logged in, not the entire database must be given to them. They can view only the data that intended for them to do. For example, they can just insert data, but they cannot delete data. You can control the user's capability and privileges by just learning the entire phpMyAdmin also. So for now, we are using the root. Okay, if in case na you forgot it, if in case that you were going, if this UUI, when I call about, when I tell when I speak or talk about UI, that is user interface, meaning this the entire page. This is the UI. If the page or the UI asks you a username and password, what you're going to do, just write root for the username and no password, and then okay, then go. We have now. So again, it's very easy to create a database. With one click, you can have that one. So just click new. It's either in this left side, or just click on the database. Because when you click the databases, you have still here the entire databases. Then you can also create here whatever database you are going to look or create. So then just click create. It's still the same with here. Patubang na mong kadira. Okay? So, for example, project. Okay, project. Okay? Project. Project CS, for example. CS second year. CS OOP. Project, okay lang. So, project CS OOP. When you create this one, it will now have a project CS OOP. Sometimes you have an error because the database already exists in your. For example, be mindful what are the database are already created. When you create again CS project, no? Project, I think project CSOP, the same name, when you create that one, you have an error because the database is already exists. And the error is very understandable. Og na pag-create database dili kay did you go create, di ba? But you are not reading the error. Meaning the error is create database project CSOP database exists. Is this error cannot be understandable? Di ba? You can understand it, but sometimes lagi kani mataranta tanong, you are just clicking without reading. Di ba pag pasangin lang yun makbibig daga na kayo. Di ba? So kinahanglan ni make sure to read the error. Okay? So again, it's very easy again. Just click new or go to the databases, then type your desired database. That is very, very easy. Okay? Next, once you have now make sure the rule is you cannot create a table without going to the database. For now, as you can see on this one server, you are on the top level, meaning you are just seeing all the databases. Rule is you can create a table within the database, but you cannot create a table without a database. So in your perspective right now, you are not inside of a database for this moment. You are just in outside. Mura you cannot create a room without a house. Please make a house first, the foundation of the house, before making a room. Basically, that is the logic. This is only here is this is what we call the URL for the database. When I click this server MySQL 3306, this is the MySQL server. We have now 3306. That is the port number. So port na siya. So when I click something in this one, a database here, Alsas, for example, it will now have a double arrows. You see database Alsas. That tells me that I am inside with Alsas database. And you can see the option right now. We can now create tables, and you can see here a new, meaning you can create a table without in the server. As you can see, the options here changes also whenever you are on the table or not on the table. If you are not on the database, as you can see the choices here, walay table, no okay makitang table. But when you go inside the table database, you can have a table na structure na, di ba? Now the structure, and you have also the interface change because you are now on the database. So meaning that the functions here, or some of the settings or some of the configurations are for the database, inside of the database, and for the tables. Because if you are on here, meaning you are on the general view, you are just looking all the databases but not the table. Inside of the database is the table. Okay, many tables if you want to. In our case, we have project CSOOP. When I click that one, I am inside of the project CSOOP, and now the PageSpeed admin detected that there is no table in the database. So there is an error or warning message for you guys. So what you are going to do, create a table. Okay? So to create a table, first is you are going to type the name of the table. You have the student. And some of in programming, in practical database management, usually all tables must be plural, and that will be verbs. Nouns. Nouns ang database, ang tables, nouns siya in English, then plural. Because you cannot make plural as in verb, no? All nouns, di ba? So students. Why students? Because there are many students there. If you say student, students. Di ba? So always noun and always plural. A naming for that one. Okay? So students. Now, you already know how many columns you have. Upon seeing my requirements here, we have 15 columns. Attributes are and columns is the same. More na siya, do not confuse with yourself. Attributes and columns is the same. Are the same. Is the same. Is the same. Okay, so we have here, you can put here 15 columns. Then after that one, go. But in our process here, for now, we don't yet have the table. As you can see here on the CS project, still, sorry, is it still no table. For this moment, we adjust to make it. Ganina, we have know that this is the table name. We have here many columns. So wala pa ta kagama. Okay. Next is we will going to create. Okay, what will be here on this one will be inputted on the column name. So to make it much more realistic, okay, I will be sometimes when I am working with the database. This is what I am going to do. Oh, wait for me. Pero lang yun. Checking sa inyo. Okay. What I am going here, I can collapse it here. When I click this arrow, I can collapse. Okay. So that okay ra maklaro ra? Okay. So I will be typing student ID because that is student ID. Yeah? And that is a type is int. Okay, then we have here length is 11. And next is you cannot diri. Pinaka taas. Okay, then we will going to find natay key primary. To add at 1. Okay, ito na ilas na lang ng primary key because it is okay to we have on the last one. Since we are using page memory admin. Pero need sige scroll. So student ID int 11. We have L name varchar because that is the qualification, and we have the length 25. Then we have here F name varchar 25. Then we have here M name varchar 25, and then we have gender. Dagko alam nga because I forgot to capitalize every letter. So gender is varchar 6. Then we have date of birth. Now that is date. Date na siya. Okay, then they have a choices there. What I am just doing here is when I tab, I just type a letter to make it much more faster. Okay, then place of birth, POB. You have a lot of choices here. But when I type B, automatic yung varchar. Diba? Parang di ito magsigi og. And we have here 255 for the length. We have contact. That is also a varchar, and that is 13. Contact number, right? Varchar. Because sometimes varchar contact number consists of plus 63. So that's why that is why I am using varchar to be safe. Okay, then we have here email address, still varchar, and 255. Pilang book. Bulong na dira. Bulong na dira. Itong last time niyang giulam na, niyang giulit. Ano si giulam ang last time? Na PS2.
Huwag na ginagawa ito yung panggamit dito, sir.
Asa?
Dito sa gawas. Okay. Magpapagpapin nyo yung ilang kayo magkala USB.
Bulong nga ng PS2 dira. ilista raw palihog institusyon na katong pangulman nalista ba to kay kamamnay sa mga email address. The next is civil status still Varkar 15. Address Varkar 15. Religion still Varkar 50. Then we have course Varkar 50 again. We have here year level int 1 plus 1 2 3 4 man na, no? Okay, then we have college Varkar 50. Okay, so once you have now filled up everything, okay, in my form, just concentrate with the attribute, type, and length. Then primary key, we only have one primary key because we want that one to be unique. Okay, we don't want that data to be duplicated because we want that to be unique. Okay, so since we have now filled up all the 15 attributes, all you need to do is what? Go, not a save. Find a save one, a save. So kindly find save button. Okay, everything nasa pinakaubos nasa save button. What happens is when you refresh that one, wala na. So hindi refresh na USB. Wala na may puros mo na USB dire, di ba, Josh? Naguba na dire. Bago mo guna ni paglatang ma'am. Asaro. Guba mo na sila lalo. Okay, so click save. Okay. So we have now after that one, you go to structure and we have now one table students. When you click this table student, okay, so you can see now on the URL, you are now on the students inside of the database and now on inside of the server. You are now focusing on the table. Here, you are focusing on the one database. Now, you are now focusing on one table. As you can see, every menu here, it will change. Kanina, walay browse, only structure. But if you're going to enter a table, there is now a browse. Why? Because you can now browse data inside of it. Okay, you can check also the structure. One last thing is to create a primary key. How to do that? Go to the structure and then go to indexes. Create an index because primary key is an index. Create an index, click, go. Then select what column you need to be an index. And that column is student ID. What kind of index you're going to use? And that will be primary. Okay? Remember that one. Primary key, primary, what column? Student ID. Then after that, go. As you can see now, the column has this key icon and it turns colored or yellow, meaning that is a primary key because if dili na siya, naara siya na key that is not colored yellow, meaning that is only an index or a unique key. There are many keys, many unique keys, so please specify a primary key. So once you have done, you are now ready to go. You can have now my tutorial for creating data on the database, retrieving it, retrieving specific, update, and delete. This is now how you are going to create first the database, creating a table, next is the page 2. Once you have now the database, you can have that one. But again, sometimes because you are going to insert it in data individually. For example, you create a form for last name. You want to try it to insert the database, di ba? imong utay-utayon because you are a beginner, and I know that you are going to do that. Kay do not make a bulk codes as a beginner na imong manuntanan usa sa iparan. It makes confusion later on. Why? Because you don't know asa dapita ang problema because you have a lot of codes. So slowly create one insert code for the, for example, student ID. And after that, continue mo work in student ID, create a code for last name. Sumpay-sumpayon nimo ba? Do not make a bulk one, ning bulk ka ng imong usahon, nang-insert, kay wala ka lang sa imong error niya. Puhon. Diba? So, hinay-hinay lang. So, to do that, because in this kind of, in our structure, guys, you can see there is null. When we see null, meaning that data can be null. Meaning can be empty. Now, if ganahan ka to na technique na pag run mo, masave sa last name, first name, binagsa, what happened? Sakto imong codes, but you cannot enter it in the database because of our structure in our database, our table. Why? Because we are on a null, you are describing your table, your columns in the database. Not we want it. If there is a query, we want that all columns must be filled up. Why? Because null, meaning no. Meaning you are that the tables or the columns on the tables are not accepting a null value. Oh, so dili ka kay nato. So to do that, parang makasave ra ka bisag blanco, okay, when you are just testing it, how you work on do that, just select all. We are on the structure, remember that, guys. We cannot go to the browse because browse is for that data. This one is for the structure because we are on the structure where table. Now, all the columns except the student ID must be null. Manong dili mamanal ang student ID because that is a primary key. Dili pwedeng mablanko na siya. So now, every column is pwede may mong null. So check all na ako. Kung binag sa ayan, check mo ang student ID. The next thing we're going to do, go to change. And now, go to null. Remember that one, null. You check that one, check meaning it is a null value. Meaning, pwede siya maka-insert of data of blanco. Remember that one. So, when you're done checking all the null, then click save. Now, once you save that one, as you can see, default, none, default, null. So, that is the reason why when you add insert data here, and we can have, for example, one, and everyone is empty, we can let it happen. Why? Because when you browse it, one, null. Meaning, you can insert data without a blank. That is why. On the browse, you can access all the data. You can delete, copy, whatsoever. Remember that one, guys. Remember that the one we are talking right now is to null the data because for now, maybe some of data will be, nagdama pa mong good mo, di ba? It's understandable na you can work it one field at a time, especially insert, di ba? Kaya mo muna important kayo. And some of you will be messed up. Your code is okay. You are following with my tutorial. My codes and your codes are the same. But what happened in your database structure, we are not the same. Why? Because I am using null for all my data. And you are not using null. So when you insert the data, when you process it, you are not allowing, the MySQL server is not allowing your codes to insert because there are some data which is lacking. They want, if you are going to insert data on the table, they want that all columns must be filled up. Di mo na pwede na ingon na you are inserting data on one column, so as a whole man siya. So to do that if the table is accepting null value for every column, you set as in the default null. Null nimo is yes, and the default will be null. That solves your problem because sometimes in programming your code is okay, but on the structure in your database is not okay. Your codes and your database structure is not doing well because di wala sila communicate, and you as a beginners, you are now tired of na ano man yung kaser na kuha dili aning kaser na yung magic ako wala unsa man, because no, the database, there is a reason behind that one. Wala na ingon pachamba, wala rin tanan ingon na sa likimayo ko. No, we have to reach the gap. Diba? We have to reach the gap, guys. Meaning, you have to consider, because we are now thinking two languages. We have now the database and the PHP and the programming languages. Maybe, diba? Maybe your code is okay, the same with me, but your database is not allowing you to insert data because your data, your structure of your database or your table is not null. And you're inserting 15 columns and you're inserting only one. If you don't design this one, what happened? You are not allowing, the database not allows your query to be inserted because they want that the other 14 must be has a data. But in this design, what happened? The database will accept because null raman iyang classification. You have to do that one, reaching the gap. Dili sa ingon na, because you are also concerning the database language and also concerning with the PHP language. Though the two languages must be fluently connected to each other and also knowing the gap kay wa takabalo. Muna usually guys, and some of the beginners and some of the programmers also na masipit daan na jud na time no mas yung nga naman maungot kag 1 hour to fix that bug, because that bug is not, that kind of bug is what we call runtime error. And runtime error is very, very crucial and very kanaganing kapoy because there is no error at all. Wala gyud error. Sige ra kag ingon na di man ma-execute, di man ma-insert na sakto man yung codes, di man siya ma-error nga naman because of your runtime. Wala man na syntax error, easy ra man na. Nara kay line number 58 missing semicolon, dali man mabasa na. If that error, wala na problema. But kanang error na walay error message, that makes you a lot of heartache, heart pain, headache, tanan. Why? Half of the day you are working with it, no, pwede ka kabalo sa sabo. And simple, just this one. Simple. Di ka ka-add, sakto ang add na ako. Press na sir, pero ano man ang gining digit ka insert because of the database design. Question? Questions? Wala question? Nag-record ba to? Okay, nag-record. So, any questions? Wala. This is for your